So students, this is a video on the QA topic tests available on the Bodhee Prep app. The idea of these tests is once you've gone through the concepts of a topic, you want to check yourself in a test. That is where you give this test. Every test there is followed by a video which gives you a brief analysis of the test and the solutions. So after you've taken the test, you go through the video. There are more than 200 such topic tests available on the Bodhee Prep Android app. The link for the app is in the description. Make sure you download the app to make the most of these tests. This specific video is on solid geometry, mensuration 3D, and this is the fourth test on the topic that we're discussing. The overall level of difficulty for the test was moderate. We're looking at about 6 to 7 questions in about 23 minutes to get a 95 plus percentile in this test. If we look at the questions, the first one says, an unsharpened cylindrical pencil consists of a layer of wood surrounding a solid cylindrical graphite, solid cylinder of graphite. This is a cylindrical pencil. There is a cylindrical graphite in the middle, and the rest of it is wood. So from the top, it looks something like this: two circles. This is the circle for graphite. The rest of it is wood. The radius of the pencil is 7 mm. Radius is 7 mm. The radius of graphite is 1 mm. Radius of graphite is 1 mm. The length of the pencil is 10 centimeters. Find the cost of material in the pencil. Now, the amount of graphite will be the volume of this graphite cylinder, which will be nothing but pi r square h. The radius is 1 mm, kilohectodecameter deci centimilli. So 1 by 10 into 1 by 10, pi r square into h. H is 10 centimeters. This becomes the volume of graphite, pi r square h. The volume of wood will be pi. Now, these are concentric circles that we have. So, the area of this ring will be R1 square minus R2 square, which will be 7 minus 1. Or if we write this as, if we write it separately, we'll say the overall volume is pi R square, 7 by 10 square, into 10 minus the volume of graphite, which is pi 1 by 10 square into 10. We have 10 because the radiuses were in mm, so we convert it to centimeters. The length is in centimeters. Now, since we're looking at cost, we'll multiply the cost of graphite and we'll multiply the cost of wood. So the cost of graphite will be 2.1 into the volume, which is 22 by 7 into 1 by 10 into 1 by 10 into 10 plus, here pi and 10 become common, 7 square 49 minus 148. And the cost is 0.7 into 22 by 7 into 48 by 10 in 100. 49 by 100 minus 1 by 100 into 10. So here 0, 0 cancel. This is 0.3. So this will become 6.6. 0.66. Here we have 100 already. 0, 0 cancel. 0.1. It will become 48 into 2.2, which will be 96 and 9.6, which will be 105.6 upon 10. So this will be 10.56. 56. And the total becomes 2, 1, 5, 6, 11, 12. 2, 1, 11.22 rupees. Option C becomes the answer. The only reason I'm calling this a moderate question would be because of the calculation. The rest of it is not very difficult conceptually, but about 2.5 minutes to solve. A cube of edge 12 centimeters is cut into 64 equal cubes. 64 equal cubes means 64 is the cube root of 64 is 4. So the entire cube that had side 12 is cut along the length, breadth, and height 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. And there'll be 16 layers like this, therefore 64. That is how we get 64 cubes. The overall length was 12 centimeters. So the length of each of these smaller cube will be 3 centimeter. Now these are arranged on the table such that one face of each tube touches the table. One face. So they're placed on the table such that one face touches the table. Resulting figure is a solid cuboid whose length and breadth are in the ratio 4:1. Length and breadth are in the ratio 4:1. So if we keep so this is the table, we keep 4 cubes side by side. The length will be 4 and the breadth will be 1. So the number of cubes is 4 into 1, but we see that overall cubes is 64. So if length is 4x, breadth will be x. This has to be 64, x square is 16, x is equal to 4. So what happens is 16 cubes in one length and 4 rows like this is what have been kept on the table. 4 rows like this. They have been kept side by side. 16 in one line, in one line, 4 rows like that. Now it says what is the total surface area of the table that is occupied. So if you look at the length of this thing, it will be 16 cubes with side 3 centimeter. And if you look at the breadth, there will be 4 cubes with side 3 centimeter. The overall area will be 4 into 6 into 4 into 16 into 3 into 3. 64 into 9, which is 640 minus 64, which will be 576. 540, 36. 576 centimeter square becomes the answer. I think moderate to difficult question will require some amount of visualization and concepts of cube ratio, and then area is used. So about 2.5 minutes to solve. Suppose R1 is the radius of the sphere with volume numerically equal to the total surface area of a hemisphere with radius equal to R1. R1 is the radius of the sphere with volume numerically equal to the total surface area of a hemisphere. Now, radius, volume of the sphere will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. This is R1 cube. This is numerically equal to the total surface area of the hemisphere. Total surface of the hemisphere will be 3 pi R1 cube. So from here, pi and pi can get R1 square, hemisphere area. Pi and pi gets cancelled, R1 square, R1 gets cancelled. We get R1 is equal to 9 by 4. This 3 goes to the top, 4 comes to the bottom. Similarly, R2 is the radius of a sphere with volume numerically equal to its curved surface area. Volume of the sphere, radius of the sphere with volume. Radius of the sphere means 4 by 3 pi r cube. R2 is the radius. R2 cube is equal to volume numerically equal to its curved surface area. Curved surface area of a cube will still be 4 pi R2 square. A sphere is a sphere. And therefore, from here you will get R2 is equal to pi and pi cancel 12 by 4. The ratio of R1 R2 is 9 by 4 by 12 by 4. R1 upon R2, which will be 9 by 4 into 4 by 12, or 3 by 4 becomes the answer, option C. Not a very difficult question, just have to write the equation and solve from there. So I think a minute and a half to 2 minutes to solve, easy. A rectangular water tank is open at the top. Its capacity is 24 meter cube. The length and breadth are 4 and 3. Since capacity is 24, we can say capacity 24 will be length into breadth into height. Length and breadth are given as 4 and 3. So height will be nothing but 24 upon 12. 430, which is 2. So if I look at the tank, it is open at the top, height is 2, breadth is 3, length is 4. Capacity 24. Ignoring the thickness of the material used for building the tank, the total cost of painting the inner outer surface at 10 per meter cube will be. Now, if you look at this, the surfaces, there are 4 walls which will be painted inside and outside. The area of the walls will be 3 into 2, 4 into 2, 3 into 2, 4 into 2. The area of the walls will be 2 times of 2 into 3 plus 2 into 4. Height into breadth, height into length. 2 into 3, 2 into 4, 2 times. And then again multiplied by 2 because inside and outside. 2 3s are 6, 2 4s are 8, 8 plus 6 is 14, 14 into 2 into 2 is 56. Next is the floor. Floor will have area, 4 3s are 12, inside and outside 24. Therefore, the total area that is to be painted is 56 plus 24 or 70, 80 meter cube, meter square. Rate is rupees 10 per meter. Therefore, total amount required will be area into rate, which is 800 rupees. Option D. Moderate level of difficulty, about minute and a half to 2 to solve. What length of solid cylinder 2 centimeter in diameter, cylinder 2 centimeter, must be taken to cast hollow cylinder of external diameter 12, thickness 0.25, 15 centimeter long. Now the required volume of the hollow cylinder will be pi r1 square minus r2 square into h. R1 square minus r2 square will be the area of the ring that is formed at the top. R1 is the overall radius. R2 is the radius of the space which is hollow. So here diameter overall is 12. So R1 becomes 6. 0.25 is thickness. So the thickness is given as 0.25, which means if this is 6 and the thickness is 0.25, this will be 5.75 centimeter. 6 square minus 5.75 square into height, which is 15. This becomes the required volume. This volume is to be generated from a solid cylinder 2 centimeter in diameter. So the area of this or the volume of this cylinder will be pi r square into h. Height we have to calculate. Square of 1 becomes h. Square of 1 becomes 1. H is as it is. Pi gets cancelled and therefore h is nothing but 6 square minus 5.75 square. This into 15. We can either calculate this or write it as a plus a square can be a plus b into a minus. So 11.75 a plus b into a minus into 0.25 into 15. 0.25 is 1 by 4. 11.75 into 15. 5 into 3 into 1 by 4. This becomes 11.75 into 3, which is 35.25. 33, 35.25. 35.25 into 5 into 1 by 4. 35.25 into 5 will be 5, 125, 251, 6, 176.25 into 1 by 4. This becomes 4 4s are 16. 16, 4 4s are 16, 0, 0. 3. 25, 6 4s are 24, 10, which is 25, 44.0625 centimeter. Option C becomes the answer. Concept, not very difficult. The calculation might be, and therefore I'm saying moderate, about 2 to 2.5 minutes to solve. Diameter of a jar, cylindrical in shape, is increased by 25%. Cylinder 25%. By what percent must the height be decreased so that the volume does not change? Now the volume of a cylindrical jar is pi r square h. The radius is increased by 25%. 25% is 1 by 4 in fraction. So if we had the radius as r, the new radius will be r into 1 plus 1 by 4, or 5 by 4r. And therefore the volume will become pi 5 by 4r whole square into the new height, say h dash. This is nothing but pi r square h dash into 25 by 16. Now, if we want the volume to not change, we have to remove this 25 by 16. So we can say the new height has to be h into 16 by 25. So that gets multiplied by 25 by 16. And this gets cancelled out. We are left with the original volume. Therefore, the new height has to be 16 by 25 times of the old height. If the old height was 25, the new height therefore has to be 16, which is a decrease of 9 on a base of 25, which is 36% becomes the answer. We could also divide and see. I could write pi r square h is equal to pi into 5 by 4r whole square into h dash. Here, from here we'll get the ratio of h and h dash, something like this, and then this process can be done. In any case, we can also use successive percentage change. In any case, the question is not very difficult. So maybe 1.5 minutes to solve. Basically, percentage more than mensuration is what is used. The radius of a cylinder is 5 meter more. Radius is 5 meter cylinder than height. If height is h, radius is h plus 5. 5 meter more than height. Its curved surface, if the curved surface of the cylinder is 792. Curved surface area means 2 into pi into curved surface area, 2 pi rh. This is given to be 792. What is the volume of the cylinder? 2 into 22 by 7 into r into h is 792. 22 will divide 792. 22 3. There are 66. 66 and 13. 36. This will also get divided. 18. So r into h comes out to 18 into 7. We know that r is nothing but h plus 5. There are two numbers who have a difference of 5, and they are 18 into 7. If we rearrange this, we can say h plus 5 into h is equal to 9 into 14. So h becomes 9, h plus 5 becomes 14. We could also open this up as a quadratic and solve. We'll end up doing the same process. We'll look for two numbers which have a difference of 5 and a product of 9 into 14. So this will give us the answer as height as 9, radius as 14. We have to find out the volume. Volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. Pi r square h. So 22 into 2 into 4 into 9. 9 4s are 36, 36, 4. 4. Two options end with 4. If we multiply 44, 44 into 14 and 9. 90, 9 4s are 36. 126. 126 and 44 will be 126, 44, 480, 504 slash 504 to 5544. Option C becomes my answer. Moderate level of difficulty, you might end up putting in some time solving the quadratic if you're not working with the option. Therefore, and also there is in the end, multiplication involved. So maybe the attempt time might go up to 2.5 to 3 minutes. Therefore, moderate question. A cuboidal water tank contains 216. Sorry. A cuboidal water tank contains 216 liters of water cuboid. Its depth is one third of its length, and breadth is half of one third of difference between length and depth. Length and depth difference should be a multiple of 6, so that there is no denominator. And length is one third of depth is one third of length. So what I'm saying is, let the length be equal to 9x. Depth is one third of this, therefore 3x, and breadth is half of one third of difference between length and depth, which is 6x. This will come out to x, and therefore we can say 9x into 3x into x, length into breadth into depth, is equal to volume 216. So x cube comes out to 216 by 27. Taking cube root, x is equal to 3 by 2, 6 by 2, which is 3. 6 by 3, which is 2. Yes, 216 cube root is 6, 27 cube root is 3, 6 by 3 is 2, 160, 56, 216, yes. What is the length of the tank? Length of the tank is 9x, or 9 into 2, which is 18. Option C becomes the answer. Also, liters, 1 liter is equal to 1 dm, and therefore we can 1 decimeter. Kilo to decameter, decicentimeter. 1000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1 liter, therefore 1 decimeter will be 1 liter, and hence answer is in decimeter. Again, that is not my concern for this question because all the options are the same, and therefore I am saying easy to moderate question, about 120 seconds to solve. The length, breadth, and height of a cuboid are in the ratio 1 to 3. Length and the breadth and height are increasing by 100%, 200%, and 200%. Then the increase in the volume of cuboid is, again we can multiplying factors. We can use successive percentage change. I am taking the length to be 10, breadth to be 20, height, length, breadth, height to be 30, ratio 10, 12, 10, 20, 30. Therefore, the volume is 10 into 20 into 30, which is 6,000. Length is increased by 100%, increased by 100% means it becomes double. Breadth is increased by 200%, increased by 200% means 200% of 20 will be 2 into 20, which is 40. So the new value will be 60, gets multiplied by 3. Similarly, this increased by 200%. This also gets multiplied by 3, becomes 9. Hence, the new volume is 9 6 54. 54 into 2 is 108,000. What is the increase in the volume? Volume goes from 6,000 to 108,000. Therefore, an increase of 108,000 minus 6,000 upon a starting value of 6,000 into 100. So this becomes 102,000 upon 6,000 into 100. 000 cancel. 6 ones are 6, 4 2, 6 sevens are 42. And therefore 1700% or 17 times is the increase. Don't have to find out the percentage. The increase in volume is 17 times. The volume becomes 18 times. Again, more an application of percentage than mensuration. Overall, easy question. A hemisphere of lead of radius 6 is cast into two right circular cones of height 75. The radius of the base of the cones is. The volume will be the same. The hemisphere will have volume 2 by 3 pi r cube. This will be the volume of the new cones that are formed, is cast into a right circular cone. Hemisphere lead this is cast into a, not to, into a right circular cone. Why S is not, I wrote read into as 2. Right, so cone, right circular cone with height 75 centimeter will have a volume of 1 by 3 pi r square h. R is something that we have to find out. Height is given as 75. We have to find the radius. So here pi and pi get cancelled. 3 and 3 get cancelled. R square will simply be 2 into 6 into 6 into 6 upon 75. 3 25s are This becomes 2 sir. Multiply by 4. So r square is equal to 4 into 6 into 6 into 4 by 100. So if we take the square root, we'll get 4 into 6 by 10, which is 2.4 centimeters. Option C becomes my answer. 25 is nothing but 4 into 25 into 4 is 100. So multiply and divide the numerator by and denominator basically by 4. You get 100, which is easier to manage. Again, a level of difficulty probably easy to moderate. Just had to equate the volume and get the answer. And therefore, if I look at the overall test, overall the test was moderate, 6 to 7 questions, 23 minutes. My 6 to 7 questions in this test would be 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Which are these? Calculation was there, but again, since I'm trying to get the attempt, I'm counting this question. This question again could be tricky, may not be a short question every time. This was again just divide and get the answer, definitely doing this. This also I think was a very simple question because the numbers involved, definitely doing this. Calculations are tricky and therefore not counting this as a short question. This was simple, mostly percentage, counting this question for sure. Here also again the problem is calculation that might take too much time. So not counting this as one of my 7 easy questions. This was simple, basic numbers can be done. This also basic percentage should be done. Here also we just equated the volume and divided. The calculation also is not very difficult, so counting this as a question as well. So out of 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, I'll get my 6 to 7 net correct in about 23 minutes.